I'm Rebecca Kennedy, and you're listening to the Don't Go Out There podcast.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, jumping to the film review. This one is definitely different for us. When we started doing this show, I never thought I'd be asked to do something like this, but it's very humbling, very honoring. But on September 30th, Mike sent in our group text that friend of the show and former legendary blood donor Sean Irwin's wife, Sarah Irwin, who is also a legendary blood donor and friend of our show, suddenly passed away, and it broke our hearts. Hearts go out to Sean and his family still to this day. Couldn't imagine losing my spouse or anything like that. Sean said that this movie we're reviewing tonight is his wife's favorite. We're taking on 2018's Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell, and I'll just go ahead and give my general thoughts. Sean said to let us have it. Keep it real, keep it 100, and I want to keep it 100. Sean, I like the movie.
Yeah.
I did not dislike it. I thought it was funny. I laughed my ass off at a lot of it. I thought Bert and Travis were hilarious together. I'm not even going to lie. I had a good time with it. I know I think he said it sucks and it's terrible, but I had fun with it. I thought it was a good movie. I was surprised. And a serious note, though, I hate to hear what happened, but we're going to do Sarah's movie justice, and we appreciate you, Sean, for reaching out. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, like you said, I feel also extremely honored to be asked to do this. And I feel like the best way to honor her is to be honest, like Sean said to be. And Sean, once again, you're wrong, buddy. Listen, Tremors 6. Let me start off by saying it's the best sequel to the original, in my opinion. Now, it's the only sequel that I've ever seen. So, To be fair, a lot of Tremors fans do say that this is the worst one, but I don't know. All I can say is, as far as my Tremors fandom goes, we did the original for Monster Movies Month. I think Dustin picked it back in episode 229, don'tgoouthere.com. And I gave it the highest of all of us at a 9. And if this is the kind of sequel that the rest of the franchise gives us, sign me up. That's only good news, in my opinion. And I may take a lot of slack from the Tremors fandom, and if I am, then you fucking guys are too, apparently. And again, I don't know fuck all about this franchise, but I'm just saying I've seen worse movies.
I've seen worse movies this year. I've seen worse movies this year in the theater. Shout out to Screenboat.
Yeah, first of all, just want to give my heartfelt, sincerest condolences to Sean, his family, his loved ones, his closest people for the passing of Sarah. I think it was an honor that you reached out to us and asked us to do this movie for her. I know that somewhere she is able to hear this episode, and I will say I enjoyed having her on for the episode of Rubber, even though we spent the majority of the time kind of crapping on one of her favorite movies. I'm sure that she had a blast with it, and so I hope that she has a blast with this episode as well. As far as the movie goes, Not a fan. Sorry, Sarah and Sean. I'm not a fan of this movie. I'm just not a fan of the Tremors franchise in general. It doesn't do a whole lot for me personally, but I do know that a lot of people are fans of it. This is just so cheesy, B-rate, like just one of those kind of C horror comedy movies that I'm just not a big fan of. It feels like a really bad episode of a television show, and so when the movie was picked, I'm like, probably not going to end up liking that. But I tried to go in with an open mind. There's some bright spots. There's some cool shots and cool visuals, and Jamie Kennedy's always a nice addition. But I'm just not a big fan of this movie personally. But I am excited to talk about it.
I had never seen this movie either. First of all, let me start with saying, Sean, buddy, you've been in my prayers every day, thinking of you. Feel free to reach out if you need anything. But I'd never seen this one. I think that this one now becomes the fourth that I've seen in the franchise. I haven't seen them all, but I think I'd seen three, the first three, and now this one. It's fun, man. Like, this is exactly what a horror comedy franchise should strive to be, in my opinion, because they're all fun. They're all fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. The humor has to be right, and the humor is right in this movie as well as the other movies in the franchise that I've seen. Bert, incredible stuff. I mean, he's hilarious. Him and Travis both were hilarious, and I thought that this movie did the original justice. And I saw what you saw, Brian. That's apparently a hot take, but I stand by it. I enjoy this movie. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's a masterclass. So it's not going to get a crazy high score, but I had fun with it. And for a movie like this, that's what you're supposed to do. That's all you can ask. Have fun with it. All right. Well, I'm doing the scene by scene for this one. So anybody else have any opening thoughts before we get into it? Lord, bear me strength. Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell. We open with a look at the frozen tundra, and I don't mean Lambeau Field. We're in Canada, baby. We see a camp set up, and some yahoos argue Fahrenheit versus Celsius, but their banter is broken up when one of them hits something while drilling into the snow, and the female in the group says she's picking up some seismic energy beneath the surface, and it's alive, and it's big. As they bicker about it, the ground rumbles before splitting, and a graboid emerges. Arzy's arm and seismic energy detector go flying, and then Buddy with the drill is in a whole heap of trouble as his sled drags him off. Next on the menu is our delegate from Norway, and he meets his maker as we get our title card. Cut to the desert, and we see a familiar face in a familiar place. Bert Gummer. He's in his shop in Perfection. A taxman rolls up, and it looks like Bert's ready to send him to the upper room, but he's shooting a paper target. The taxman points out that Bert is wearing a Cubs hat instead of his usual Atlanta Hawks hat, before telling him his property has been seized. Soon after, Bert's son Travis, played by Jamie Kennedy, who, fun fact, was in Scream with David Arquette. But anyway.
What?
Yeah. He pays him a visit. And he was also in the previous installment, Tremors Bloodline, which we have not covered. So it's important to preface that, because if you watch this movie, you don't pick up that they're father and son, really, but they are. Bert closes the store early, and we cut back to Canada. A new trio is checking out the carnage from the open, and we see severed body parts scattered about, or a boat, since they're in Canada. Back in Perfection, Bert has nightmares. Bert has nightmares about the graboids, and Travis tells him he's got a phone call. It's the Canadians calling about the graboids. He tells them it's impossible, but they insist it's not, and convince him to take the adventure. And Travis just wants to know if she's hot. And that's the open. What'd you guys think?
Listen, I've seen so much about the visual effects being shitty and fans warning to remember that this was straight to, I guess, I almost said video, but DVD, I guess, back in 2018. And I'm sure they didn't spend much on it. We'll get the budget from Mike later at the end if he doesn't forget. Let's be honest, he's going to forget. But honestly, I've seen worse visual and practical effects. So, yeah. But this open in the cold, I did watch the trailer. And they kind of make it seem like this one's going to be different and going to be set in the cold weather. Even the name. But am I wrong? This is the last time we even see snow at all in the rest of the movie. Jesus. And at the start of this, they literally drill like 3 inches. And listen, 3 inches is normal size without question. I would even say above average. But here in drilling, I'm going to say it's not very deep. And Bruce Willis and Armageddon would agree, I'm sure. And let's shout out the director, Don Michael Paul. Second Tremors film helmed by him. He did Tremors 5, which I hear isn't bad. But also, Kindergarten Cop 2. Who knew there was a Kindergarten Cop 2? Because I didn't. It's not a Tuma. It's Dolph Lundgren. Nico, Dolph Lundgren, Ivan Drago. What movie? What movie? Rocky 4. Wrong. Got him. Looking for Rocky 4 there. Anyway, and look, I may not have seen this franchise, but I know about pop culture enough to know that Michael Gross's Burt is in most, if not all, of the movies. But listen, this is the most unbelievable part of the movie. You're telling me he was married to Reba and has no money issues? Like, there's no chance. There's two constants in life, and that's Reba and Mike Settle being rich. Take that to the bank. And fun fact, while we're here, this is the first time Burt Gummer isn't seen wearing his little trademark Atlanta Hawks hat. Michael Gross said that he suggested Burt's hat be changed to Chicago Cubs out of allegiance to his own hometown team, and also because there was no real reason that Burt even wore an Atlanta Hawks hat in the first one, other than his own suggestion as well for the just for the original movie. And I admit I had no idea Jamie Kennedy was in this, but his dialogue and delivery of said dialogue was the best in the set of scenes, without question. Like you mentioned, he was apparently in the fifth one too. But aside from the cold, see what I did there? Cold open. That wasn't long enough. Yeah, story of my life. But it's just it's just a set of scenes filled with way too much dialogue that wasn't really great until Jamie Kennedy popped in.
Yeah, I got the same problem, Brian. But anywho, as everyone, even Sean, points out, this is very clearly not snow and just a filter over a desert. But it's nothing that takes me out of the movie, though. Like, I don't think it's like god awful by any means. And like y'all have mentioned as well, I've only seen the original Tremors before this one. So if I say anything that's out of canon or wrong, just please ignore my ignorance. The graboid jumping out of the snow like a great white shark was pretty cool, and it didn't look terrible. Like, I'm actually impressed by the effects in this movie. I think bro in the white sunglasses, you need to juke and jive like you're running from a gator. I don't know if a straight line is the move with this kind of creature. I thought the opening was decent, to be honest with you. Good to see Burt again in an interview about this film. He said Tremors is a thing that keeps on giving. And shout out, we love to see it. Dustin loves sequels. Serious question. How do writers come up with these names? Dalkwed? Like, how do you come up with that? Like pick Smith. Like, what are we doing here? And like Brian's already mentioned as well, him wearing that Cubs hat, just a nod to his favorite team, and they just won the World Series. I heard that during the dead meat kill count. I think it's hilarious Burt has a cutout of himself in the shop. Hell yeah, like why not? Good to see Jamie Kennedy as well. He's a fun person to meet at cons. I think he's funny. Flipping off the IRS longer than Wesley Snipes. I thought that was funny. I'm enjoying the chemistry between Burt and Travis here. Like, this is fun dialogue. This scene with the new group finding their dead comrades felt very Hills Have Eyes-esque. No issues with Burt suffering from nightmares of the past, but the way it's executed wasn't my favorite. Like, I'm just not a fan of it throughout the whole movie. He played it off well doing push-ups when Travis checks on him. I appreciate that Burt has fans seemingly, and there are graboid enthusiasts. To me, that's realistic to what society does. I laughed at Burt yelling, "Go on, I'm listening." Like, I think Burt is hilarious throughout this movie. And him crashing out is hilarious as well. Decent opening. I'm shocked. Like, I really went into the movie thinking it was going to be not good, but I was very surprised. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I always complain about not enough of the movies that we cover being in the snow, so at least we have that here. Right off the bat, we just have such silly shit, right? We get this guy running away from the creature as it's kind of burrowing itself out of the snow like he's in a James Bond movie. Okay, sure, man. Now then we get to the other setting here. This, feels more like a familiar Tremors film. Now, this guy that walks into this gas station, ? Doesn't look like a special agent for anyone other than the nursing home, man. Like, this guy's old as hell. Like, I'm not supposed to take his threat just very seriously, right? And was he being serious about wearing a Cubs hat for no reason? Because I can't stand when people do that. Wear the hats of your team, man. I don't understand that. I know there's a lot of kids that grew up in the 90s that just wore whatever, but that's just not me, man. Wear your teams or not. I don't know. How did Randy from Scream end up here? I thought he was killed in the second movie. What's going on, man? You landed on your feet there, I see. I always like doing that. I like that he tries to get him to pay for beer. It's like my family's fish camp. Yeah, man, just put that on the tab. I'm not paying for that. That's not how this goes. The leg that they show amputated or cut off in the snow looks like they grabbed it off of a mannequin at Belk. So that was bad. Little Oregon State action. Go Beavs. Shout out to the group of 5 Beavs. I wish they hadn't been so relegated by the rest of their Pac-12 compadres. Asking a question if she's hot. Valid question. Got to give it up for Randy there. I know his name's not Randy, but I'm going to call him that anyway. I mean, it is a valid question. Last thing, this feels like it would be more in tune had I'd seen anything past the first 2 Tremors films. So I don't actually know if this ties into any other of the movies. I have no idea. So again, yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but it's fun so far, but I am already kind of seeing where this is going, and I'm just not a big fan.
All right, Bert loads up the truck, and Travis says he's going too. After some convincing, Bert caves, and they're on their way. They fly in, and the scenery is gorgeous. I know Brian loved that nature shot. On their way, they're met by an ass blaster, who was, those were introduced in Part 5 as well. And they have to make an emergency landing. On the ground, they're met by a sick black vehicle, and the head honcho, Mr. Klutz, is a real dick. He steals the pilot, Max Moonshine, and they leave. Or when they leave, she tells Bert that he's with DARPA, and he says they're an acronym for evil. Valerie and Acklark show up, and we find out Valerie is Val and Rhonda's daughter. Kevin Bacon and his lady from the first movie. Neat. They head back to Valerie's station, and Dr. Sims and Charles introduce themselves. Inside, they discuss details, and we meet Swackhammer and Hart. It's unseasonably warm, which they mentioned several times, and that mixed with evolution are suspected causes for Graboids showing up here. And Bert asked Dr. Sims for a word.
Yeah, and you brought her up, and I know Valerie was introduced on the last set of scenes, but I did find it kind of a missed opportunity to not play more into Valerie being the daughter of Val and Rhonda from the OG. I mean, she even calls herself Val like Kevin Bacon did. But connections like that, to me, are cool in franchises. So it just seems like we could have got a cameo or maybe some pictures or something really driving home. I mean, I think Bacon would have done it. He loves his franchise. Stupidest thing ever they did was cancel the TV series that he was going to do to bring Val back. I thought that was stupid. But anyway, listen. All I can say as I watch the ass blaster attack on this plane is what the fuck has happened in this franchise and what the fuck are ass blasters? Like I don't even know what to say about that. I didn't know until just now that you just said that they were introducing the 5th one. Wow. Ass blasters. All right. Something I did notice though, when the aircraft they used to fly is shown first, it has like big wheels, but when it lands on the dirt road, it has like small standard wheels. Not much else on the set of scenes. I did find it rather humorous that every single doctor or research person is like supermodel pretty. Like, shout out to Krista Schamberger, the casting director. Good job.
Yeah, I agree. Nice, fun music as Bert loads up his old classic truck. Damn, him and Herschel, they got some fire whips. Like, which truck is better? Like, whichever one you take, I'll take the other one, Dustin. None of your beeswax is funny as hell coming from Bert. And I think a majority of my notes is just saying that line from Bert is funny. We're 16 minutes into the movie, and I could honestly watch these two crashing out for an entire movie. This is hilarious. Excuse my ignorance, but what are these ass blaster critters? I'm right there with you, Brian. I have no, they can fly now? For them to be crashing out as much as they were, that seemed like a pretty safe landing. Like, why were they panicking so much? Like, I thought that was pretty damn good. Mr. Cutts is a fun pain in the ass for Bert. This man is the epitome of old man yells at the cloud. And I think it's a nice nod like you that she's Val and Rhonda's daughter. I didn't hate that at all. Yuppie boy doctor crying he can't stay another minute. Got soft hands. Travis cracks me up as he explains everything, and Bert is killing me as he crashes out over and over. I thought it was another decent set of scenes. I'm laughing a lot so far.
I like Bert. He's an okay, he's kind of a fun character. Now it's hard to take him seriously, so I know there's times throughout the movie that they do try to make him a little more serious, and it just doesn't work for me. He's playing a very stereotypical character, yelling, angry guy, maybe ex-military of some kind. Again, just not familiar with the franchise. Jamie Kennedy is nice comic relief, though. Now, they're in this plane, and they have to sneak alcohol onto the tribal land. You could just follow their rules and not drink. Question mark? I don't know. Bugs is protein, something I'll never get on board with. I think I'd rather starve. I think it's funny they built this plane scene up and they ended up landing it. Very anticlimactic, probably because they could not afford any kind of plane crash, which I understand. Did this old man, Bert, just say, "Whoa, we are so out of here"? someone like 20 years old wrote this script at the time. Just to fit the dialogue in this film is really, really bad. It's like one of those. It's almost like, a bad Naked Gun movie or something. I don't know. This bad guy that they called a skid mark. This, and they don't really do anything with him throughout the film. He's just kind of there as like a fake villain of the movie. It just does not work. I don't know. But Rita, you can call me sometime. Had to get that in. Shout out to the iTunes reviews. I'm sure they'll love that. This dialogue is just terrible. The best way I would say, it's like watching an episode of MASH, but through 2025 lens, but without all the charm of the characters you already know and love. So that's how this feels. I will say, Ass Blaster, it's definitely what they called Brian in college. So there you go. Last thing, hard to take Bert serious. Like I said, he's like the assistant football coach that shows up on only game days and then tries to yell at you and make you do stuff. No, man, you're not there throughout the week. I'm not listening to you. That's just the vibe that my man gives off for me.
Mac is working on the engine repairs when Charles approaches her, ready to leave. Bert asks Dr. Sims why DARPA is there, and she says they've been there a couple months. He thinks they're breeding graboids as weapons, and Travis breaks up the chat with an ass blaster alert. Everyone is armed to the gills, and it's on the roof. Bert says graboids aren't far behind, so everyone stays still. We see Charles walking outside when a Royal Mounted rolls up and says they need to talk, but ass blaster got him. Charles makes a run for it and hides in the comms tower. Bert heads out to save him, and Travis hilariously flirts with Dr. Sims. Bert makes the save, but has an episode, and Travis has to come to the rescue. They fight off the ass blaster, but Bert's in a bad way. He wakes up in the hospital, and Val tells him that he had to have surgery to remove a tapeworm. They make small talk about her parents and how she goes to Oregon State when Travis comes to visit, followed by Dr. Sims, who says there's something Bert needs to see. We cut to the DARPA crew, who are checking the pH level of the hot spring, and there's a rumble beneath the water. A graboid snatches the female doctor, who's in the water, and we get the first aquatic kill of the franchise. We cut back to Bert, whose iris is red, and he's told he's been infected by a parasitic organism from a graboid that secretes a toxin that kills the host. And there's only one way to get the antibodies he needs, and that's from a live graboid. Even though it's urgent, Bert says he's going to do a perimeter sweep and not to let the urgent get in the way of the important. I thought that was a cool line. What'd you guys think?
So I was watching this, like I do most movies now since doing the show, with the captions on. And can I say I'm so glad that our pilot here called Dr. Fretzy Mr. Freeze, because that's all I was thinking the entire time I saw his name on the screen was, by the way, Mr. Freeze is from Batman, Nico. Was DARPA in the first one? Because I can't remember any mention of them. No, you're shaking your head. No,
so. I don't think so.
It seems like there's some history here with Gomer, so I assume they're involved in 2 through 5. I don't know, but I'm sure Sean is screaming at his radio right now the answer to that. But I'm sorry. I don't know fuck all about this franchise, like I said, and I'm rolling my eyes at this point because we have ass blasters on the roof and have dialogue like "Flaming sphincter is on the roof." Like, that's just Oscar-worthy dialogue right there. Honestly, I thought that something was shooting some sort of like waves at Gomer and Fretzy here as they're running, but then I just realized like Gomer was having the issue, the heart or the whatever, the spell, and Fretzy's dumbass was just copying him because he was told him to. I felt like I was watching a Naked Gun movie or something. Like, I don't know, man. I thought that was stupid as shit. Otherwise, not a bad group of scenes. Apparently I read that this was the first graboid attack in the franchise in the water. So that's cool if that's true. We're making history here in the 6th movie. Another goof here, though, too, when Bert is diagnosed with the stink eye from the graboid. At first, his eye is bloody when they take the sample, but then the blood goes from being in his eye to gone the next shot to completely back around his eye in the next shot. So a little bit of editing mistakes there.
I got to ask these writers again, how do you come up with the name Dr. Frizzy or however the fuck he said it? It just didn't make no sense. And I was thinking the same thing. Good question. Why are you whispering, Bert? There's nobody here. It's what are you whispering for? Finally, back to some monster attacks. I'm ready to see these ass blasters back in action. I don't know why, but it's really fun saying ass blasters. Not sure if it's a hot take or not, but this ass blaster attack looked decent. I was really expecting terrible effects in this movie, but they're not. Dr. Frezzi, however you say his name, is super annoying. I hope he gets got, honestly, and he does, thank God. And I laughed at the lack of urgency delivering the news. The comm tower's out. That's a major issue. And she said, like, what are we having for lunch today? Like, what the hell is going on here? My balls are stainless steel was a weird yet somewhat motivational chant. Got me fired up a bit. Maybe Burt could help out FSU with third down defense, saying their balls are stainless steel. Not a fan of this nightmare, shaky, blurry visual. Again, that's really one of my biggest qualms. Just don't love it. The ass blaster blowing up midair was kind of cool. So far, I can definitely see how this is someone's guilty pleasure movie. It's fun. Strong as a fifth of whiskey. Great line. Adding that to the catalog. Burt is in a hospital bed, but he's supposed to just get up immediately to go see this finding. Like, how serious is this guy's injury? Didn't he supposed to stay in the hospital? What's going on here? If I was this chick in the water and saw this giant thing swimming towards me, I'd be pulling a Mike Settle with a quickness. If you know, you know. Hate to hear that Burt is infected, but I laughed at him saying maybe one will stop by the blood bank. Dude, Burt is fucking hilarious in this movie. Like, that was a great line. I thought it was another good set of scenes.
They're trying to make me care about what these evil DARPA guys are doing, and I just don't. Just bioweapons situation seems so unserious because of the tone of the movie, right? Like, they're just not, it's not a very serious film. And so I don't feel any kind of threat from these guys at all. It comes off more like a conspiracy-minded theory or I don't know, man. Just not working for me at all. This is about the time of the movie where I'm just already kind of starting to check out. It's just not something I'm interested in. The way this guy is crying over this bio bird is so fucking terrible, man. And then they're just whispering the whole time. This dialogue back and forth about having balls of steel. Like, I know it's a horror comedy at this point, but damn, this really borderlines on parody to me. It's just not something I have a lot of interest in. And then they make me have a little bit of a seizure with these camera cuts and flashing shots. Good Lord, where did that come from? And how the hell did he end up with surgery? Like, what is going on in this movie? Now, I will say hot springs, having been to them in Alaska, are fucking awesome. So highly recommend any chance you get to do that. The kill scene in the hot springs is probably the best thing in the film so far. And they didn't even show the actual kill. So that goes to show you how I feel about that.
We see a graboid tracking shot outside the building, and Burt says he wants a second opinion. He lights his blood sample on fire, and Dr. D is yanked through the window by a graboid. Gnarly. Burt gets in defense mode, and Charles continues being a pansy. They have no technology thanks to the ass blaster taking out the comms tower, so they're flying blind. To make things worse, they're completely isolated, and the only road is done for. A graboid passes underneath, and that idiot Charles is making a run for it. Hart tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen, and a graboid attacks his truck and drags him to his death. Back inside, the group brainstorms, and they're going to reroute the power and make an underground electrical fence. The DARPA guys show up, and Mr. Cutts dispels the notion that he's behind the graboids. A graboid shakes the floor, so everyone shoots at it, pissing the graboid off, so it takes 2 DARPA agents as trophies. Travis leads the graboid away and blows up a four-wheeler, which explodes the graboid. The group runs towards Mac in the hangar, and Dr. Sims gets her leg grabbed, and the rest of the group shoots at it, freeing her from the grasp. Burt instructs Hart to piss, which draws the graboid away, and Burt, he says, "We're cleared to the hangar. Go, go, go." What'd you guys think?
Honestly, a pretty cool shot of the graboid taking that chick. Professional podcasting service. Dr. D, played by Jay Ansey. Anyway, the D being pulled through the window and then the underground. I'm going to be real. I liked it. And I did notice that gratuitous crotch grabbing by the graboid too. And it wasn't like accidental, like the tit feel up in Ghostbusters with Sigourney Weaver. Oh, no. They took a beat to focus on it too. So I thought that was funny. And Feretzi's truck being flipped over and then him being eaten. I thought that was great too. Also like the advice Gummer gave Hart. Don't follow stupid with stupid. Got to put that on a shirt. And look, the graboid jumping out of the ground like Free Willy and grabbing the four-wheeler and then exploding, that was badass. Like, I thought that looked really surprisingly good. Probably the best group of scenes in the movie so far to me. Shout out to Paul Peters and the effects team on this one. Truthfully, the movie won me over right here in scene 4.
Yeah, I laughed again at Burt. I need a second opinion. Yeah, because where are you going to go get that from? Like, where are you going to get a second opinion on this shit from? More lack of urgency as Sis is grabbed through the window by the graboid. What is going on here? Nobody moved like what just happened was happening. Take a couple of tablespoons of cement and harden up. I laughed again. And I thought that'd be a great Blue Chew line. Like, they need to write that one down quick. Smack dab in the middle of a kill zone and no way out. if it wasn't in this movie, like that's a pretty haunting line. Warms Hart to see Dr. Frezzi about to potentially get got, but of course Hart has to be a hero and try and intervene. Dumbass doesn't get that vibrations, attract the graboid. Watching him get launched in the truck was awesome. I loved it. Then getting eaten up was the cherry on top. I laughed at Travis saying he nailed Jello to a wall. I kind of want to try that. We need to try that one day. I didn't expect so much crashing out and arguing amongst characters, but it's been pretty damn fun so far. And, well, the group thought they had a plan, but it seems like the graboid may be about to ruin this prematurely. These critters are strong, though, considering how fortified the floor and foundation was to this building. And the black guy gets got here first. I'm shocked. Gotta love horror movies killing the one black guy here. Again, I think the effects of this graboid jumping from the earth look good. I'm surprised, honestly. Why wouldn't you take your pants off? Going commando is better than dying, right? Like, yeah, I'd rather show off what the lack of God gave me than die, I guess. She better be glad she had friends who could shoot, though. 8 energy drinks? That's how much he drank? That's how many Brian drinks, I think, in a day. But I bet Bro could see sound after drinking 8 energy drinks. Hart needs to go see a urologist, though. That man shouldn't be having that weak of a stream. More silly fun. I liked it.
Nah, man, you ever try to piss in front of people? It's awkward. He was nervous. Anyway.
He seemed enthusiastic, and all the girls seemed to be impressed by what he had. So, I don't know.
Yeah, this attack through the window is pretty creative. I will say, for someone that just went through whatever surgery, it's just up and out of the bed already. They're so inconsistent with this guy's health, it drives me nuts throughout the rest of the film. At least the action is picked up. Before, it kind of felt like a bad buddy cop movie. I've compared it to a lot of different genres because I don't quite know what this wants to be. The way the creatures attack and the shots you can get with them underground are always cool. So this is now my third Tremors film that I've seen, and there are really cool shots that you can get through that for sure. Look, this shit just got real was a line this guy uttered. It's like, this shit just got real. And I'm like, it hasn't been real the whole time? What are you talking about? People have died, bio birds and all this other shit. We've had somebody go under surgery. Oh, okay, man. Just felt like something that a 19-year-old put in the script somewhere. I don't know. I hate to criticize writing because I am not a film writer, but this is clearly not well written. I'm sorry. And I just don't believe this group of people would all work together on this project. Feels super out of place to me. Now, I like some of these characters. They're fun and kind of fleshed out, some of them, but I don't know, man. Just not believable to me. And then he uses the line, your experiment has run amok. Who's writing for this guy, man? What is happening in this movie? I feel like Burt doesn't actually know what he's talking about. For someone that's supposed to be an expert for these things, he's been pretty terrible and inconsistent so far. He's ended up in the hospital. I wouldn't listen to that fucking guy either. I'm just saying. Great shot of these things spiraling out of the ground. I think, again, cool shots of the actual Tremors or the creatures. Now, hold on a second. Rita talking about not wearing any underwear. Man. And then we went from that to this man pissing off the side of this platform or whatever, like it's me during a late day off the side of the boat. I cracked up. I will say that was the funniest part of the movie so far. So
the group makes a run for it, and Burt has another episode. Another graboid enters the mix, making the live count 2 again. Burt climbs on some boulders and fights off a graboid until his episode takes over again, and Dr. Sims saves his hide. Travis tells her they have to get to one of those worms pronto, and a graboid starts heading towards the hangar, so Swackhammer flips the switch on their electrical fence, which actually worked. That's great, but Burt's still down for the count. Since it can't feast here, the graboid heads next door to the DARPA buffet. There's an explosion, and a DARPA agent runs outside ablaze, meaning the graboid, for the first time ever, gets his dinner cooked. Burt rejoins the group, and Travis is far more concerned with his health than he is. Travis has an idea on how to catch one, but before he can share it, the drill starts going again because it was set to auto, meaning Hart is in danger. A graboid emerges from the ground as he dangles from the drilling tower he was pissing off of, and the group starts making noise to draw it away. It charges towards them, and the electrical fence blows up. They get the drill turned off, and Valerie and Hart make a run for the hangar once the remaining graboid retreats. Burt starts having another episode, but that's not the worst news. The generator is cooked, meaning the electrical fence is on the fritz. Burt's bleeding from his eye pretty badly, and they need to get him to medical. But Mr. Cutts calls out for help from the rooftop next door. Travis says tells Rita to take Acklark and Burt to medical, and SWAT cameras with him. 1, 2, 3, break, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
I mean, I know you've been laughing at Gomer, but I honestly have not actually laughed out loud until this set of scenes. This set of scenes made me laugh. Like the whole peeing thing with Hart. I don't know. It's like Gomer's dialogue cracked my ass up. Free Willy and let the big dog eat. Listen, just the start of a line of dialogue that crackled with the kind of rhythm that made me want to write them in cursive and frame them in my room, by God. Gonna build me an ark, he said. I love it. Made me laugh. Oh, wait, hold up. Like, okay. Let me preface this by saying that Dustin just mentioned this earlier about Jamie Kennedy being Gomer's son, but I didn't realize it until this group of scenes, and I wrote it in real time. I wrote, hold up. Like, she says Travis's father is very sick. Like, that's Gomer's son. Like, I was blown away right there. Anyway, I don't love the whole subplot though of getting the antibodies for Gomer. Like, come on, I did like the Reba Heather callback, and again, finding out about Jamie Kennedy's character, the whole family connection. I loved that, but and like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. And I was told that that was the gun that Heather took in Tremors 2, apparently. So when I'm finished with wrestling, I may watch the rest of this franchise. I don't know. But to me, like, this is where the movie should have ended, because I didn't love the ending. That's where it kind of loses me some. I did like the callback line here, though. Looks like you broke into the wrong goddamn hangar, didn't you, bastard? Definitely a shout out to the same basic line in the first one. Also, Sally's Soul Smasher. Wow. There's a girl in college. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Again, I'm not a fan of these attacks Burt goes through out of nowhere. Man up, man. Damn. Get over your fucking trauma. Be a man. Burt keeps his head on a swivel, shooting this worm from behind. Love to see he paid attention during special teams coaching. Fit as a butcher's dog. Man, that's another great line from Burt. Man, fit as a butcher's dog. I love that line. I got to write that one down, too. I like where Travis's brain is at. Fishing is always a good solution. Good thinking, causing a ruckus to draw the graboid to you to blow it up. Loved it. Again, not a fan of Burt's breakdown. And the last thing I got is I laughed at Travis. I got to do the right thing, huh? More fun. Let's get to the ending.
Look, when he finally gets away, or when Burt finally gets away from all these things, that last little one he had to shoot was pretty ridiculous, but I did laugh at it. Now, not going to lie, I've checked out since I learned everyone was keeping their pants on, man. Thought we were about to get some really good shots, if you know what I mean. I'll stop now. I know iTunes will go run amok with that. Now, listen, DARPA, I know it's the name of an organization. It sounds like something like an insult you'd throw at people. You fucking DARPA. Like, that's yeah, man, you know what I mean. That's what that sounds like. Jamie Kennedy with the line of the movie, I'm the result of one of your affairs, which is a great line. I did like that. This structure, as it starts to tip over, looks like when the Dudleys start to tip over Jeff Hardy on the ladder onto a pair of tables. That's how that looked. I thought it was a pretty cool shot. The blow-up goose shots, again, are admittedly cool. They don't really do anything as far as story and structure, but they are cool nonetheless. Last thing, this set of scenes was kind of a nothing burger. I am very, very ready to get to the end, though, for sure.
All right, here it is. The group makes a run for it, and Travis leverages Mr. Cutts into helping Burt with his tax issues. As he's climbing down, Mr. Cutts falls, drawing the attention of the graboid. Swathammer turns into a maniac, throwing all kinds of homemade bombs, giving Travis and Cutts time to escape. Burt wants out of medical, but Travis tells him he's in charge now, and they're going to save him. Travis gives him his gun and goes to join the others. They gear up, and Travis does his best Burt impression. Maybe I need to get a Cubs hat and some aviators, because that look worked on Dr. Sims. She was totally flirting with him. Attaboy. Swathammer puts the finishing touches on their trap, and it's time to go fishing. They get into position, and Valerie baits the hook. Mac flies overhead and grabs the hook, and the trap works flawlessly. Phase 2. They open the container, but this part is tricky. They struggle with extracting what they need, and Burt fires some shots from the porch to help out. Once the grabbers are taken care of, Travis climbs in the graboid's mouth and gets what he needs. After surgery, it doesn't look good for Burt, but false alarm. The old coot wakes up, and he's going to make it. Mr. Cutts gives Bert his tax relief paperwork and the deed to his property. He also reveals his plan to turn the graboid into a weapon after all. So Bert and Hart use the remote-controlled airplane to blow it up. Bert and Travis prepare to go home, and Travis kisses Dr. Sims on the cheek like a real virgin. Bert scolds him, so Travis gives her a proper goodbye kiss. The end. And, I got to say, I don't know how Cutts got the tax paperwork and the deed where they are with the comms towers down. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, the movie should have ended last set of scenes, in my opinion. It kind of, I don't know, they just didn't stick the landing here for me. It started with the DARPA agent falling off the fucking roof. I thought that was ridiculous. Like, just cut all of this. He's on the roof, and then we have Travis and the doc just like run up, stop, and have a conversation. Like before he just falls off the ladder like fucking wet bandits. I mean, come on, movie. And I hadn't really said much about cinematography, so I will here. Just because like the slow motion plane scene reminded me, like they used a shitload of slow motion in this movie, and you know what? It worked for me. Like the rest of this does everything from the rest of this does not. Like everything from the graboid perfectly flying into the storage container to the gigantic needle to the creating the antidote for something that's been on his body for like 3 movies, and the antidote was made in like 35 seconds. And like, were they fucking around with Jamie Kennedy by saying Bert was dead? Because like, if not, that's some crazy doctoring right there. Like, how do you not? What? You just said he was dead. So, I don't know. This one ends with Bert giving advice on kissing and then his partner acting upon that advice, much like the final scene in the first Tremors, so I did catch that. But apparently, I heard that this ended on the same dialogue exactly as the 5th one. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but that seems kind of crazy. Anyway, that's all I had for Tremors 6.
Yeah, y'all bear with me. I got a decent amount on this set. Travis negotiating no taxes for his life was brilliant. Paying taxes is bullshit. Dumbass falls off the ladder. No survival skills. Dutch is living his best life, though, tossing bombs at graboids, and it's fun to watch. I bet Sean is surprised as hell hearing me like this movie so far. Like, I bet he's like, what the hell is going on with this guy? Bert's that old head who won't admit his time has passed, but I admire his want to fight. Question, is this the first time we've ever had a Travis in one of our movies? Like, I know that's random, but it came to me. Like, I don't remember any other Travises. Love to see Val sitting with Bert. We love a caring queen. Let's go fishing. 3 of the best words ever uttered. And whenever we see, this graboid get, hooked, I yelled in my Jeremy Wade voice, fish on. I can't lie. This seems like a fun movie to shoot. Swinging a golf club at a graboid worm. Like, it could be a worse day at the office, right? Wasn't expecting or needing to see Michael Gross's ass, but here we are. And I don't know how fun it would be climbing into this monstrosity. That looked disgusting. I bet that wasn't fun for Jamie Kennedy. I laughed. At least the gland wasn't in the prostitute. Like, that's just another great line. I laughed at that. I'd be skeptical injecting myself with these, what was it, antibodies, I think they called them. Like, fuck that. I knew Bert wasn't dead. I would have been ticked if he was, though. And after this movie, low-key, I want a Cubs hat after this movie and some aviators. Like, the look was kind of fresh, I'm not going to lie. Love to see Mr. Cutts get his due diligence at the end by Bert. Travis is a damn fool if he lets Dr. D get away. Or that's not Dr. D. Whoever this hottie is. Sorry, Sean, I didn't learn the names that well. There was just a bunch of people there. She's way out of his league. Not some broke dick 22. Another great line by Bert. And the last thing I got to ask is, does Bert want Travis to go fuck her in front of everyone? Like, that was a solid kiss. Like, what else do you want from the guy?
So, question. Are these DARPA guys actually bad? I'm really confused as to what the whole point of them being in this film are. I'm really, really confused about what they're supposed to be doing. But anyway, so bad cover of Mustang Sally here, which just, fuck, man. Love that song. I mean, Wilson Pickett's a goat. I don't know what we got here. He's back in the hospital, back in the bed. I'm so confused. Did I miss something? Did I miss a plot point? I really don't understand what's going on here. It's good to see the plane up and running again. We didn't get anything else about that, really, and all of a sudden, it's back to being able to fly. We have a couple cool shots of the creatures, but these effects, when they're too close up, look pretty fucking terrible, in my opinion. Now, I will say, shout out to Bert. This man killed something in a no back gown. That is crazy, because he ain't wearing any underwear. They won't let you, man. It's a tough. Going to the hospital is a little bit tough, I will say. Now, you're out here in a gown. Your boys and junk are all hanging out. Not a good time for sure. This goose scene with Jamie is absolutely gross, but I thought it was, it kind of got its point across. Again, this movie is very schlocky and silly, so I understand. And there was no way they were going to have this old fuck Bert die, right? Like, you just knew as they tried to get a little serious that he would pop back up. And we get a little bit of a happy ending. And Jamie gets to kiss the girl not once but twice, so good for him. But I am so ready. I'm so glad and ready that this movie is over. It was just not my cup of tea, not the kind of movie that I typically would enjoy.
Damn, I was like, you want to watch your Dr. Sims? Okay, my fault. But I was like, Bert, you want him to just keep going back and kissing her? I mean, I feel you. I mean, like, I would want to kiss her too, but like, you want to watch him do that?
How funny was it in the negotiation? I just like cuts is like, I think the government can handle or can survive without your tax dollars, or like however you phrase it. That's funny. He's basically saying, "You're broke, dude. We're good."
Yeah. I'll just jump to our Instagram, our social media comments and questions. I'll do Instagram. Sean the Glee Man himself commented, "The movie is absolutely terrible. Disagree. But it does have some fun moments. I just can't forgive them for the snow filter." And APZ84 replied, and it was very sweet of her to say, "I am so sorry for your loss, Sean," with the heart emoji. Love to see that. Dustin, you got anything on X and Blue Sky?
Both. I got X and Blue Sky, or as formerly known as Twitter. We'll start there. Sean the Glee Man said, "This movie is proof that you can love someone and still question their life choices. I watched this movie with her several times. Each time, I regretted showing her Tremors in the first place. But as terrible as this movie is, she loved it, and I miss her." We love you, brother. Andrew Ferguson said, "I only watched the first two for years. This one popped up as a Netflix recommendation, so I gave it a watch. I was lost when they so casually mentioned the Ass Blaster, so I had to go back and see the ones I missed."
Right.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck?
And then over on Blue Sky, Sean also said, "My friends are watching this movie in honor of Sarah. You should also watch it and regret your life choices." Let me tell you something, pal. I regret nothing. This movie's fun.
It is fun.
Nothing on the Book of Faces.
Y'all got any fun facts you want to share?
Got just one. I already said the David Arquette connection. I snuck it into my scene by scene, so we'll just say this one. The requisite non-resident special exemption RCMP 5590 that Bert asked Travis about securing is, in fact, the proper pre-processing notice to non-residents bringing a firearm into Canada with the non-residential firearm declaration form. So that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know, that's the actual form. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, there's no budget. Fun fact, though, this movie was shot in Cape Town, South Africa, not in Canada. So
Nice.
Shout out to that.
It was not snowy at all.
It was not.
In the entire movie.
Very deserty. Let's jump into our favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating. Dustin, you want to kick us off?
Sure do. Favorite kill, I went with the DARPA agent that was cooked first. Look, I like my steaks cooked Pittsburgh style, and that's basically how this Graboid's dinner was prepared, so shout out to a Graboid of taste. Least favorite kill, I don't know. Take your pick from the opening scene kills or the couple of DARPA agents that just got grabbed through the floor. I don't know. As far as my final thoughts on the rating, this franchise is just the best kind of cheese. If you're going to make bad movies, they have to at least be entertaining. And these are. Bert is great, and Travis provides a breath of fresh air to the franchise. I really need to watch Tremors Bloodlines now. Anyway, I like this franchise, and this movie's no exception. And I won't change my opinion for anyone, including you, Sean. I give this one a 6. Because it is objectively bad, but it's entertaining.
I'll go next. Favorite kill? I chose Dr. Frezzi because I didn't like that guy. Or Fred, I don't know how you even say his name. I don't like his face. Get him out of here.
It's a Frenzy.
Least favorite kill, Dr. D. Like, no urgency. They just let her get got. People were just watching at the window. They didn't grab no knives, no gun, try and save her. Like, it ticked me off a little bit. You need doctors around, by God. I echo Dustin. I had a good time with the movie. Like, I like the first one as well. It's fun. It's just a movie that's just comfort. Like, you can have a snack and a drink and just watch it and picks your mood up. I thought Bert and Travis were hilarious. I thought the effects were surprisingly good as well. Like, I was really impressed by the effects, and we didn't have a budget, so I know there probably wasn't much of one, and I was impressed by the effects. I laughed. I had a good time. I give it a 6 as well.
Yeah, I really didn't pick a favorite least favorite kill. There wasn't, surprisingly for a Tremors film, these kills were kind of tame. I guess if I had to, it would be the one in the hot springs. But again, I wish we had seen that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, this movie just not for me. Not a big fan. I just, again, this franchise is just not something that I'll ever dive into. But I am honored that we were called upon to review this movie for Sarah in the memory of. And so I know that she would have wanted me to be brutally honest, and so I will be. I give this movie a 3.5. Just not for me. I've kind of gone over my qualms. Too silly. Not quite sure of what the movie wants to be, so just not for me.
All right. My favorite kill was the graboid that jumped up like Free Willy and then ate the four-wheeler and exploded. I thought that was fucking awesome. My least favorite kill, DARPA agent killed off screen. Pick one. Yeah, I'm just going to echo you guys a lot. Not the worst movie I've ever seen. I was able to have way more fun with it than I expected. Like Nico mentioned earlier, I was expecting it to be honestly awful, and it wasn't. I didn't love the very beginning, the cold open. That still cracks me up. And I didn't love the ending, but the middle was just right. Made me want to watch the rest of the franchise, like I said. So by the time we watch Tremors 2 and review it, hopefully I'll have that knocked out. Overall, I gave the movie a 5.75.
All right. That gives us a composite score of 5.3125. IMDb has it at a 5.0, so we're right there with them. Letterboxd 2.2 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes, 40%. So think about this. The movies reviewed this week. Tremors, A Cold Day in Hell has a much higher, substantially higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Saw 5.
Holy shit.
That's the critics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know ball. Oh, God. But anywho, Sean, we appreciate you, buddy. Our heart's going out to you for sure. Can't imagine what you're going through, but like Dustin mentioned, you need us. Just reach out, and we got you, brother.
Absolutely.
Let's shout out our blood donors, and we'll get out of here. Camper Level Reoccurring, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, Matt from the UK, and Anthony Andrews. Camp Counselor Reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez-Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis from Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, Madison Arzola, and Casey Smith. Really appreciate y'all. Like I've mentioned several times, we could not do the show for free, and we appreciate your donations. It takes a huge burden off us so we don't have to pay these bills. Sean, one last time, we appreciate you. We're so sorry for what you're going through, but we are here for you if you need us, and we'll be back next week.
And thank you for never changing, Sean. Continue to have terrible movie opinions.
Yeah, hold on. Fuck Repo the Genetic Opera. That movie sucks. Love you, Sean.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody,